Hi, everybody. My name is Vania Loredo, and I'm the program manager here at Enroute. And I think a lot of you already know me because I've been conducting your interviews and also helping you through the onboarding process. And now that you're all the way here in the mentoring welcome orientation, I just want to say how thankful we are for you giving us some time to not only train you, but spend it with our students. It is awesome when folks are able to commit to be part of the Enroute community because there are definitely some awesome benefits for anybody who volunteers with us, from creating a relationship with your student to helping build a community of strong volunteers, or even building bridges between organizations and Enroute. There is always an opportunity for you to be involved. And I want to also give you a special thank you for taking the time on reviewing these documents and videos. I know there might be a lot coming up, but I also want to say that there's this opportunity for all of us to gain a little bit more when we are able to show up ready and able to show up with the same expectations as your students. And today I'm talking to you a little bit more about mentoring at Somerville. Teresa Martinez, who is the director of the program, and Laura Montoya, who is the program associate, will be welcoming you in your first day as a mentor. So feel free to write some questions down as we're going through this presentation, because they'll be the ones guiding you through your process, your first night. And so with that said, I also want to make sure that you all have all the materials ready and handy. And so this is a presentation overall on expectations and ways of how you can show up for your first meeting, and the little things that you can put on your toolbox as you're building trust with your student. So let me start sharing my screen by now. And just give you, again, an overview of what the agenda and the video will be about. So we'll talk about program overview, expectations, explore mentoring, explore leadership, and emerge are the three programs that some of you will be placed under. So just so you know that there's three cohorts. So we'll be talking a little bit more about what those mean, the expectations for each of them, and the objectives as well. But I kind of want to start with the policies for Somerville, because I know there has been some questions about what in-person mentoring looks like in Somerville, and definitely we have some answers for you. So because Enroute follows federal and district policies, we are requiring all volunteers, regardless of location, to show proof of vaccination, which means that as your onboarding process, you'll be getting a form where you can take a picture of your vaccination card and submit it to us. So that's an easy way of us to keep track of who's been showing proof of vaccination so they can enter the building. There'll be a screening every evening with a questionnaire for staff and volunteers. So this will be sent out a few hours ahead of the meeting. So you'll have the opportunity to, do a wellness check, send it in, and we're able to welcome you into the space. And for Somerville, all of the meetings will be conducted with masks on. And so we'll be in a community space in the cafeteria. It's a really big and beautiful cafeteria. The building is brand new, so you'll be able to have that opportunity to have ventilation. There's high ceilings, so it's not a cramped room. However, we are asking folks to put masks and keep a safe distance between your students. Okay, so now that the policies are in place, we'll be double checking again your proof of vaccination, and again, a questionnaire will be sent out before every meeting. I want to talk to you a little bit more of what we're asking our volunteers to do. So in a way, when we talk about what is the commitment, we say that it's an average of 1 hour a week in-person mentoring. So you show up a little before 6 p.m., either a Tuesday or a Thursday, depending on your cohort. And after that, we are able to, check in with your student and see how things are going. We encourage folks that you're building communication, you're texting your student or sending emails or reminders about if folks are showing up for a mentoring night or if they need to reschedule for something else. So we're able to do, you're able and your student able to do so. And usually students send us some kind of communication if they're not making it. And we ask and encourage students to also text you if they can't make it, so you're not coming all the way to Somerville to do it. But the expectation is an hour a week, sometimes an hour and a half if you have to check for homework throughout the week or you're having to help with something extra. There's always going to be that piece where as your relationship is becoming stronger, that they'll be able to reach out more frequently. So that is a possibility that that hour extends a little beyond that. So that's why we say 1.5 hours. There's trainings like this one right now, like you're watching a recorded training where volunteers will be required to watch it. However, there's also live trainings that will happening throughout the year, and one will be coming up in a few weeks. So we encourage volunteers to come and spend that hour and a half on Zoom with us. We don't expect it to be every week where you're doing your mentoring and also training, but there'll be some weeks where training and mentoring overlap. So hopefully you're able to balance that too. There's also check-ins. So there is a couple of check-ins throughout the year with staff. So your point person for each of the staff for Somerville will be Teresa and Laura, who will be checking in with you to just see how students and you are doing, how's the relationship going, how's the match going, if there's any concerns or flags that we should know about. And so we do it at least twice a year. Because you show up in person, I think it will probably be more frequent at that. The other thing that I want to mention is taking initiative. Taking initiative to reach out to Enrich staff if there's any questions or concerns or schedule changes. Reach out to your student if there's anything that you might be wondering about in terms of like taking initiative about, for instance, leaning in and taking a chance of, asking a student if they need extra help on something, or if they're able to ask, able to do a little bit more with you if, things start to getting comfortable. I think that there's an awesome way in which mentors can definitely, open up to the student and share some of their life experiences in terms of like schoolwork, in terms of career paths, in terms of like balancing, times, or just general advice that the student might feel like they're getting to know you a little bit better and building that connection with you. Then communication is always important. I think mentors are always asking students how they're doing, and it's just really consistent. So we ask to continue that consistency throughout the year. We understand that life gets busy, but always giving a heads up about what's going on in your schedule, especially so students feel like they have the most support from you in terms of, coming into the space, in terms of checking in. So if things happen, because we all understand life happens, giving us and the student a heads up. And then lastly, having fun. I hope that you're able to get to know some awesome people, get to know your student better, and build an amazing community of Root. All of our students are wonderful, so we're able to just create an environment that is fun, it is supportive, and it's building a community of strong students. So now I'm jumping in to give you a little bit more of an objective in terms of cohort. So for those mentors who have been matched with an Explore student, that means that the student right now is in the process of language acquisition. I think that there is a way in which, sometimes we are caught up in the metrics of success, and there is an expectation of like what success means for each of the programs. But I also want to say that the program sometimes is about helping the student where they are at and asking the student what their goals are. So if you're seeing your student, not feeling engaged, not feeling like you're making progress, asking the student if that's something that, they want to change in your routine, in your check-ins. And I just wanted to preface that before diving into Explore that not every objective that we lay out sometimes is 100% match with this where the student is at. Sometimes it's about little steps and sometimes it's about big steps, but making sure that you feel like there is consistency from the student, that the students feeling supported sometimes is the major goal. And so for the Explore program, it's about English acquisition. So helping the students learn, skills in grammar, skills in essay writing, and explain things that are accessible to them. So sometimes when you come from a different place, math is being taught differently. So how do you explain a concept that is accessible for the student? And so making sure that you're not thinking so much about structures, but accessibility as a way to connect with your student, and making sure that there is overall a way in which the student feels that they're not only getting to learn the concepts, but learn a little also about the surroundings. So when I say that, it's also about helping the student learn context about why things are done the way they're done. I think sometimes we think of a student not understanding a subject, and maybe it's because the student learned something very different at the beginning of their school journey, and now they're in a different community learning something that they might know of, but they don't understand why folks do it a different way. And so I'm also part of the Explorer program is helping them understand the context in which the community operates, because some of our students are brand new to our community. So also helping, kind of like get a sense of what the community is like, what the Cambridge or Somerville area are like. So folks feel like they're belonging and there's a connection with their surroundings as well. And we ask if the mentors have experience working with English learners. We ask that, mentors have the ability to speak the same language as their students. So the majority of you will be matched with a student that speaks your same language. So that's a way for the student to feel also encouraged to go back and forth and learn different things. And then patience and strong active listening skills. And meet weekly. We say an hour and a half because with the texting and emailing beforehand, before meetings, sometimes it just, it's at its time, but it's an hour on Tuesdays at the Somerville cafeteria from 6 to 7. And so we're also wondering a little bit more about the expectations for mentoring success. And this is something really key to en route mentoring. And I want to also preface by saying that there's no perfect formula for what success means between you and your student. Every relationship is unique and every relationship has its way of developing. And so trusting the process is also part of the journey and not feeling like there has to be a method on how to break it. Sometimes it is about just listening to the student. It's about, finding a way in. And the students can be pretty open, or sometimes they have a hard time getting comfortable. And I think respecting and honoring that journey for the student is also key in this. But I would say, for your first meeting, be intentional about getting to know your students. So we'll give you a prompt of questions just so you and your student can get to know one another, but asking open-ended questions. And I think it's just a way in which students can find themselves just relaxing and they can share with you a really cool story about the students. For instance, we had a pair who just met recently, and it's just been wonderful just to see how one story can just create an immediate bond with the mentor and the student. So thinking also like how asking really broad questions, getting to know the student, show genuine interest can help the student build that trust. And I think also like asking what their goals are. asking what they want to work on throughout the year. These goals can change over time, of course, but I think having a foundation of what the student wants to do is super key. In the interviews that I've been mentioning, I keep saying that the students are the drivers of the success for their future. So asking them what they're thinking about in terms of like, what is it that you want to work on this year? What is a subject that you are struggling with, but you want to, get better at? Concerns about other things that might be happening. So asking those questions is super important. I think also understanding that we're still in the middle of a pandemic and it's been hard for some of our students to adapt from remote learning and then coming back to in person. I think that there's a reason why sometimes some of our students didn't come to mentoring last year and now they're fully present, and honoring students process as well, because there might be something going on at home. There might be other things that are impeding them to be fully in the moment, and giving them some grace and asking staff for support if you do see that there's something happening there. And asking, ask how we can step in. I would say that this is also the part where I mentioned that we as staff are mandated reporters. So if the student is in an unsafe situation, either physically or giving some ideation of self-harm, that you have to immediately contact us because we'll start a process for that. And then the third one is shared power and accountability. Like I've said, both the mentor and the student are 50-50% of that relationship. So helping the student find their voice is part of the process, but also understanding that you are a supporting adult in that relationship and you're there to hear the student more than, sometimes you want to step in and give really good advice, but sometimes the student just needs a listening hand. So learning how to share that power and learning how to share accountability, it's super key to helping success happen in the relationship. So really, I really want all of us to, when we, interact with our students, helping us to really feel like we are giving a space for the student to voice concerns, given a space for the students to feel like they are able to also hold their own in their relationship too. So I also wanted to mention what is a successful mentor pair. And I also want to say that I am extremely grateful for our students' feedback on this. Students were actually surveyed over the summer, and we were able to provide some context into this. And don't worry, I'll talk a little bit farther down about leadership and emerge program, but I think this is just something really important that I feel like you will like to listen to and read from, because these are students' ways in which they see a mentor being in their lives. So when we ask the students over the summer, what makes a good mentor, or what are you looking for in a mentor? They answer, an adult that I respect and that respects me, somebody with whom I can build a positive, strong, and authentic relationship, somebody who makes me feel seen, heard, and validated, someone who supports me in multiple areas of my life, including my personal life, my school and academic life, and my pre-college professional life, someone who holds me to a high standard of conduct and achievement, both supporting me and holding me accountable to my own goals, and somebody who shares my interests and understands my experiences. So in a way, I think, like we've been talking about already, a mentor is somebody who is there as a listening ear, as a listening adult, as a supporting adult, and really holding the student to a degree of accountability that is comfortable, but challenging, but yet achievable. And so thinking about like how helping that student navigate these spaces is part of also the student's growth, and helping the student achieve the goals regardless of who those goals are or what those goals are is super important, because I think like that is what develops student self-confidence and students' voice, because they're expressing a goal in order for it to hopefully happen either short term or long term, and the mentors are there to support it. So I kind of wanted just to give us a little brief moment to just think of that as well. And I also wanted us to just take a moment here to just see if there's anything that you might want to take pause on, reflect on while I ask you to do so. I'll be talking a little bit more about leadership and emerge. So hold on as I pull out the slides. Okay, we're back. So I hope you were able to jot down some questions and were able to have some kind of, follow-ups for Teresa and Laura. And I also want to make sure that you have the time to, look back if you had to, because we're halfway through this training. And the last thing that I also wanted to point out before we move into the leadership and emerge cohort was what makes a successful mentor pair. And we have seen research said that is consistent contact, so making sure that you're keeping up with your student, and it's not only that you're meeting with them once a week, but following up throughout the week to see how they're doing. Set up realistic expectations, and I think this is super key because it talks about you and the student connecting and really talking about what are it that you're hoping for in your relationship. And these are conversations that we're trying to normalize for our students too. It's about, like I've mentioned before, self-agency and helping the student really feel like they're able to have their own voice in their relationships, in their commitments, and also in their own accountability. Mentor commitment and perseverance. I think all of you are super committed. If you're volunteering with us and helping us with the program, is because you definitely believe in the values, and we share some of the same values and also the mission of the organization. And responsiveness and adaptability on the part of the mentor. I think we also ask about flexibility as part of being adaptability, because sometimes the student might have had other things on their plate and priority is not, their goals right now. Maybe it's helping with their family, maybe it's going to school and having a full-time job. And so they're juggling a lot of responsibilities. So how do we respond when those changes happen? Like, what is it that the mentor can do in order to support, which is, do you want to change her time of meetings? Do you maybe want to do some texting as a way to check in, maybe some voice memos, just to hear each other's voice, see how they're doing, schedule a FaceTime if we can meet in person. Things like make things accessible for the student too, in order to feel like they're able to still feel like there's somebody accounting for them, but also feel like there's flexibility enough where life's still happening and they're able to manage it all. So with that said, I also want to talk about our leadership and emerge cohort. And one of the things that the leadership and emerge cohort is for students who have been in the program for over a year. So some of our students who are in the Explore program go on to become leadership or emerge students, which means that they have a different set of responsibilities. Our leadership cohort is for those students who won an internship, won the leadership development. We offer leadership seminars about once a month, I believe, where students, talk a little bit more about their strengths, talk about time management, talk about all the things that help them become better leaders, and also help them feel like they're owning a little bit more. And so some of our students who also hold internships have check-ins with their internship site supervisors. They have deadlines, they have projects. So it's really awesome just to see that students are taking on a little bit more. Leadership and emerge are also students who might be in the college process or making plans for future as they're graduating high school. So leadership and emerge meet at the same night. Those are Thursdays from 6 to 7, again, the Somerville cafeteria. And all of them have the opportunity to join the workshops. There's also professional development workshops that we'll be doing, and mentors are invited to join. However, if you can't make it, let us know and we can send you a recording. Emerge students, it's a little bit more flexible because Emerge students are students who have been in the program. Some of them have gone through Explore, Leadership, and Emerge because they have a part-time job, but they still need a mentor to hold them accountable because they still need to work on certain things, but they have other priorities. So Emerge is a little bit more flexible because we don't give them as much responsibilities as leadership, but we still invite them to those spaces. However, we totally understand if the student cannot make it. And it's totally fine if they don't, because we also understand that the priorities should be helping achieve the goals and helping meet with their mentor. So that is something a little bit more in which I hope that you're able to also learn the difference between the two programs, even though it might feel very similar. Emerge students have a little bit more of a flexible schedule in terms of like they don't have as many workshops or commitments as leadership students. And the commitment again is an hour and a half, and we say an hour and a half because you're texting the student. Some of the students are showing up to seminar. Some of the students are, following up on certain things. So I would say that that is also part of the commitment. And so dates and times for Somerville, which is mentoring sessions on Tuesdays from 6 to 7, and the Explore kickoff will be on October 12th from 6 to 7 as well. Same with Leadership and Emerge. So we hope to see you there. And the last also part is about mentor and student communication. So what happens after each of the kickoffs is that we hope that you're able to build, a system where you're reminding each other about events. You're texting, you're sending emails. We also send text and emails, so you'll hear from both either the student and staff to attend. Also, let us know if you're coming, because it's always great to know who will be in the room. And also a good way to hold your student accountable. If you say you're going, that means the student might feel like they have to also be there because it's important information. So another good way to hold a student accountable is by communicating with them and making sure that both of you are telling one another if you're going to show up to the space. If not, how are you going to follow up? Will you watch the recording together? Will you take notes if one of you is not coming? And then how do you communicate what was presented and what things will be important for the student? And these are the two amazing staff who will be helping you and supporting, Teresa and Laura. And Teresa is actually an alum of the program. So she was part of the En route program a couple of years ago, and now it's amazing how it's come full circle, and now she's a director of the Somerville program. And then Laura will be starting on October 4th, and so this week she's brand new. So if you see her, tell her hi and welcome. She's brand new to the team, but we're super excited to have them both be part of this journey with you. If you have any questions, please email them. I'm also available. You all have my email, and you know who I am. I'll probably be at some of the Somerville mentor nights, so you just let me know. Yeah, and so all the Q&A questions that you might have, please write them down again from the second half and bring them to your first mentor night. We hope that you're able to be there. Let us know if you can, because obviously we'll let your student know, but I really hope that this video was in for the long haul, in terms of just giving you a grounding place where you can start. And hopefully as you're moving on with your journey, that you're able to create more of a sustainable and rhythm with your student, and hopefully that they're ways in which the relationship that you're building with your student as well is so unique that you have your own methods and you have your own ways of doing things, which is the goal. And let us know if there's any questions. We are always here to help you. And so hopefully this was helpful. Let us know also if you have any other comments or feedback, and I'll be happy to include those in future recordings. But I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you on your first night at En route. Have a good one.